What if tomorrow you woke up and just like that, you had the body you've always dreamed of? Your health was on point, energy levels were high, and your confidence, through the roof. Completely Possible Fitness wants you to know that it's possible to change your life and make your dreams come true. We specialize in weight loss, muscle building, functional training, group exercise, and nutritional advice. Don't let another day go by not having exactly what you want. Contact Copo Fit and let us help transform your life. Copo Fit is on all social media, or you can email us at copofit@gmail.com. That's COPOFIT@gmail.com. Do you love drama as much as I do? Plot shifts and heart-pounding turns will keep you enthralled in the new book, Soiled Sheets by Phoenix Ash. Dana and Marshall are drawn to each other, but their flame has a tendency to burn and splinter all that once mattered, quite possibly even each other. Will they make it through the debris or become part of the ruins? Find out when you purchase your copy of Soiled Sheets by Phoenix Ash, now available via Amazon Books and all Kindle devices, and it's free with Kindle Unlimited.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at?
Well, actually, I live in Delaware now, so does that make me a Delawarean?
Sing it, girl.
You know, Beyonce is my friend in my head. Jay my people sometimes, too.
Yeah. I mean, like, be true, man.
You know, when I was a kid, I had an imaginary enemy. Like, does that make me crazy?
Life as P, presented by Say What Radio.
Hey guys, welcome back to Life is P. I'm your host, Phoenix Ash. If this is the first time you're joining me, of course it's not a welcome back, it's a welcome. Thank you for giving me a shot. Thank you for giving me a try. For whoever recommended you or whatever social media platform you found me on, I appreciate you giving it a shot. If you are a repeat listener, thank you so much. I appreciate it. As always, I tell you, I appreciate your time. I appreciate the messages you guys send me in my DMs. I appreciate all of our conversations. Absolutely wonderful. If you are somebody that feels like you want to get something off your chest, you want to share something with me, or even talk about future projects, please give me a shout out on social media. I'm available on Twitter at PWrites, as well as on Instagram at PWrites. And there are a number of people finding me on Facebook. So I feel like, what's the point of keeping that to myself? So you can find me on Facebook at Phoenix Ash. I should know my name, right? Anywho, I'd like to talk to you guys today about not replicating the things that made us tap out of our old situations. So in working a contract job recently, I was talking to someone and we were constantly going over, and not purposefully, I know it sounds like people are griping all the time at work, but without the disclaimer, let me just say that when you are working someplace that is trying to, or says they are trying to work on their diversity and inclusion, as a minority in this country, it can seem very exhausting to assist with working first. We don't know how authentic the goal is, right? Because there's so many situations and so many policies in place, or just attitudes and behaviors that are counterproductive to increasing the presence of diverse communities at the place of work. So you sometimes rely on your minority people to become your recruiters, or to figure out programs, or to work in alignment with your goals, when we as minorities are like, none of these processes you have in place are working properly. They don't speak to me. They don't speak to anyone I know, and they're not working to increase your numbers as you are experiencing. So it can sometimes get very exhausting. In general, though, it can be exhausting working for a company that doesn't seem to have policies and procedures in place that are in alignment with their spoken goals. So when I think about that, I think about how many of us have, to some degree, decided to tap out of the rat race for someone else and make our own lane. Either start your own business or become an independent writer, filmmaker, an independent photographer, an independent accountant, whatever, that we've tapped out. And at one point, we may need to employ people to do certain things for us, because just because we've decided to build our own and create our own doesn't mean that we can easily master every aspect of making our own. I know I've talked about it before. I am the reluctant entrepreneur. I am self-publishing. I am self-promoting. I am doing these things because I feel like I have to. Thank God for Say What Radio Network that they would give me a platform and allow me to work with my producer and engineer so closely, where I feel like I have partners in at least this portion of my journey. But it is very difficult for me to master the marketing and the self-promotion. I am one of those people who I'm like, God, I wish I could just write and talk and not worry about the details. And I feel bad that that's what I would prefer, because then it's like, are you lazy? Like, what's wrong with you? So anyway, we've talked about how I can beat myself up. So in thinking about all these things, I sometimes employ someone to do artwork for me or to convert certain files. I'm pretty good with a computer, but I am not the most tech savvy. Technology moves so quickly and you can do so many things that I'm usually like in awe. I'm like somebody's grandmother finding out what I can do with an iPhone. I'm not even going to tell you. Wait, listen, I got to tell you about this. So I had an attorney who needed some forms from me right away, day of. And I was like sort of worried. How was I going to get this to them? I'm not in a place that I can really get it signed the way I needed to get signed and send it back. You know, I was someplace where the fax machine was... it was restricted. I couldn't send things outside of the building. It was a whole mess. And so I go to someone and I'm like, you know, isn't there an app or something that would allow me to download this thing and sign it like a PDF and send it out? And they were like, I don't know. That sounds good. I think maybe there is an app. So I go to the app store to find an app. And guys, do you know I had already downloaded this probably like years ago? It was on my phone already. I felt so dumb. So this is why I need assistance, because these kinds of things, you know, I can admit to you guys, they happen to me all the time. A lot of times I'm absent-minded and I'm like, what just happened right there? I can be really smart in a moment and really dumb in the next one. And sometimes it's like that. But anyhow, in employing somebody to do some work for me, I paid them. They did the work promptly, did it on time, and so forth. And a couple of days went by, and after having this conversation with the person on my contract job, I was like, you know, I don't think I ever turned around and told that person thank you. Because part of the reason why my coworker was getting exhausted is because her efforts were not being acknowledged. So she constantly felt like she was chasing her tail. She constantly felt like she was unheard. And the question was still put back on her. The tasks were still put back on her. They still needed her help in order to drive their efforts. But at no point did they acknowledge you've worked so hard, you've done so well. They didn't even acknowledge her work anniversary after acknowledging everyone else is on the team. So it's easy. She's the kind of person, those types of situations are the situations that create people who have entrepreneurial spirit or who do something else on the side or who are fed up with their job to sort of tap out of the race and go, you know what, I'm just going to have to do my own thing. So you lose on their talent. You lose on all the wonderful things that they can offer your company, your business, your goals. You lose. And it's simply just because you don't acknowledge and you just got your head up your own behind and you won't. So when you start your own business or you're doing your own thing and at one point you come into contact with someone that you need to pay in order to do something that you either don't have the time to do or don't have the skill set to do, you need to remember to acknowledge the work that they've done. It's so easy to say, well, they did what they were supposed to do. They did what I paid them to do. I paid them on time, just like they did the work on time. So there's nothing extra I need to do. I don't believe that that's a good way to do business. I believe that you need to turn around and you need to say thank you. When I reached out to an artist who did some work for me, and it took me a couple days, but I reached out and I said, I don't think I said thank you. And I want to say thank you and I appreciate you because you are always there when I need you. You are always on time. You always meet or exceed my expectations. And I really need to tell you I appreciate you. And the response was, wow, thank you so much for saying that. I'm so happy to have you as a client. And maybe that was just a box check. Maybe that was the standard reply, but maybe it really spoke to her to say, wow, my client, even though she pays me, she appreciates the fact that because people are like, oh, they did their job. You don't have to go overcompensate and do something extra. But don't you know people who don't do their jobs? I appreciate you for following through. I appreciate you for deciding your job is important enough to you and to me, that my dollar is important enough to you for you to do your job properly, do it with pride, and on time. Thank you. I don't feel like it hurts to say thank you. I don't feel like they all of a sudden feel like they got some advantage over you where they can. And if that's what they feel, then, that's a different thing that you have to address. And that's a flaw in their character. Maybe you don't want to continue to do work with them, but you constantly have the choice whether I'm going to do work with you or whether I'm not. But they have the choice as well. So why not be the thankful one? Why not be the one who say, I appreciate it? Sometimes you don't have it to say thank you with an additional amount of money. Sometimes you don't have it to say, here's a tip, or here is a little extra something for the holidays, or here's a vacation that you can go on, or here, take a few days off. Sometimes that's not what you have to give, but you always have a thank you to give. You always can find a thank you to give. And we need to learn to appreciate, and this is myself included. It shouldn't take me a couple days to remember that I need to tell you that I appreciate you for the work that you do for me. Because those are the things that made me tap out of the rat race, and I don't want you to tap out on me. And as entrepreneurs, sometimes we get our heads so stuck up our behinds and we're so focused on how much additional money we want to make. We're focused on how we're going to find the next client, where we're going to find the next client, how far can we go, how much money can we make this month, can we eat, can we pay our bills. I know that it's the simplest things sometimes. We want to know, can we feed and clothe ourselves? And we don't think about what it is that people are offering us because we're so caught up in our own struggle. But you have to remember to say thank you. You have to remember to acknowledge the work that's being done for you, the work that's being done with you. You need to remember to acknowledge it. Do not take on the characteristics of the companies that convinced you to tap out. Don't do it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work for your bottom line. Hell, it didn't work for their bottom line, right? The company that helped you to figure out that you don't want to work for them anymore. To some degree, they lost on their bottom line because I'm just going to take the assumption that you were badass and you were dynamite at what you did. And how hard would you have worked to keep up the momentum when this company said thank you or acknowledged the work you did or praised a project that you completed and you exceeded expectations rather than taking credit for it or acting as though it's no big deal or you did what you were supposed to do. You did what I paid you to do. that doesn't get you to the next level. That doesn't get you pushing yourself harder. That doesn't get you trying to find how much better you can produce for these people. And so when you treat other people the same way, it doesn't get them to work harder or produce better or to give you their best. It doesn't. And what's the point of paying someone and starting a work relationship with someone if you are going to convince them not to give you their best? What's the point in that? I want to be the person that you work with who convinces you that I deserve your best. I want to be the person that you say, you know what? She always says thank you. She always appreciates it. She may not have much, but she tries to give a little tip, or she's very responsive, or, you know, she tries to find other ways to compensate to let me know that she appreciates me and thank you. And so I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And no, not everybody thinks that way. And no, I'm not doing it strictly so that you can exchange something better. But I know that I want to be appreciated, so I'm going to appreciate you. Who doesn't like thank you? Who doesn't like to feel as though the work that they're doing matters? Not just matters to the company goal or to the project deadline, but matters to the person who requested it. Don't you love to feel appreciated? Don't you love to know that this person could have gone anywhere, but they decided to give you the business? They decided to, whether you needed the money or not, because people don't pay you because you need the money. They pay you because they need some work done. And they don't think about, you need the money, so this is why I'm going to come back to you so that you can do it. No, they come back to you because they know that you are going to do well, and they know that you are going to give your best. But if that person who's coming back to you is nasty, or never says thank you, or wants too damn much for the little tiny bit they want to pay, or always looking for a discount, you're not enthused. You start to think about, well, who can I replace them with? What other client can I find? Where else can I get work from? Because I would prefer not to work for this person. So what I'm saying is, don't be that person. Don't be the person that people are running away from. People are trying to replace you as an employer. People are trying to get rid of you as a work partner because you're nasty, or because you don't say thank you, or because you don't acknowledge anything, or because you don't appreciate anything. Why would you want to be that person? There is so much foolish stigma around what is necessary to be a quote unquote boss, or to go so far. And yes, there is some disciplines that you have to have. There are some boundaries that you have to have that are clear. There are some serious work ethics that you have to employ, but none of those negate thank you. None of those negate acknowledging the work that someone else has done. I don't care what anyone tells you, none of those things negate being thankful and appreciative and acknowledging people for their hard work. You always have a thank you to give. Give it. Give it. Don't become like the companies and the people that convinced you needed to go make your own lane. Because, yeah, you had a passion, and yeah, there was something that you felt you could do independently, and yeah, you had a skill set. But, you know, a lot of us, particularly in my generation, you know, we're taught to go work for somebody else. We're taught to go to school and get an education and get a good job and to do your best and try to rise and become an associate and a manager and a director and a vice president and all of those things. But when you are constantly ignored or not acknowledged, or you got to work 3-4 times as hard as anyone else just to get just an inch ahead, and you have a passion and you have a skill set that you can figure out how to work independently and earn a check on your own, you would actually take a pay cut. You would take a pay cut. So you may be doing the same exact thing that you did for this company, but you would take a pay cut to do it for yourself just to avoid dealing with these people. And then you're going to become just like them? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm telling you, I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to myself. I kick myself and I say, you ain't say thank you? What's wrong with you, girl? how you not going to appreciate some work somebody did for you? First of all, most of the time when I pay somebody to do something for me, it's because I have no idea how to do it. And I can be extremely impatient. So when people are like, oh, it's easy, you can learn how to do it, someone has to teach you, I'm like, oh my God, I got to learn something else. I started thinking about my mental budget, how much capacity I have inside. Do I have the room to think about this? Because let's not forget that I'm a mother of a 3-year-old. I'm a first-time mother, which I think it's hard being a mother altogether. But a first-time mother, I don't know what I'm doing. We have no family that lives nearby, no blood relatives that live less than an hour away from us. So we don't have people we could just be like, hey, I'm going to drop her off and, I'm going to go do my thing and get stuff taken care of. My husband and I have to plan these requests. we have to think, we weigh out, is it necessary for us to have this time? Because we don't want to overuse someone or overuse our resources. We want to make sure that when we ask, we feel it is necessary. And even then, sometimes the answer is no. So we can't misuse it. So when I'm asking you to do something and you like, oh, it's easy, you can learn. Okay, well, I'm going to have that time to learn, number one. And I don't have the energy. I'm tired because I'm working on me as a brand, but I'm also working contract jobs. Sometimes those contract jobs are 9 to 5. Okay, then I'm a mom and I'm a wife and I got to give everything its time. I don't have no nanny. I don't have nobody who's cooking other than me and my husband. Like, we have to work this out. And then my husband and I, when I do work a contract job, we work opposite shifts. So I ain't even getting none. So this time, so I'm like, oh, I'm all dry. That's stressful, y'all. Listen, what I'm trying to tell you is, if you are somebody who is building your business, if you are somebody who maybe you feel like you're past the building stage and you're maintaining your business, acknowledge the people who are working for you or working with you. Acknowledge the work that they do. Say thank you. Say thank you. Just appreciate them. Don't repeat the things that caused you to give up on the rest of the working world. Say thank you. Pay attention. Listen to them. Make them feel heard. Because sometimes we think that, nope, I got tunnel vision. I know what I'm doing. I don't want too many hands in the pot. I don't want too many opinions because I could get caught up. And that's understandable. That's cool. But sometimes those opinions can help you. So maybe you write them down and maybe you think about them some other time. Maybe you ask them to send it to you in an email and you look at it later when you feel like you got some calm and you can really go through these things. Maybe they got some suggestions. Maybe you tell somebody, listen, I hear you. If you have a solution, can you send it to me? Because I know sometimes people say, oh, I don't like this, or this is going wrong and this ain't right. And you like, I don't have the mental capacity to be thinking about all these things, particularly when I'm trying to work these other things out. I can't do the math on how to fix this thing that you keep complaining about. But if they come to you with the problem and the solution, it might be worth your while to pay attention. It might be worth your while. The fix may not be as hard as you think it is. Just say thank you. Give appreciation. It goes such a long way. Such a long way. I can't tell you how many times I try not to look for discounts, but sometimes my pockets don't give me no choice. So I got to find some other way to compensate the person I'm trying to get a product from or whatever, or I got to give it up and say, well, maybe I'll get it next time. I ain't never going to buy from you again because you won't give me a discount, but maybe I got to get it next time. Maybe I'm just not ready for you. Okay. But there's so many people who have turned around and been like, you know what, girl, I'm going to do it for free. Or girl, you know what, I'm going to give you this discount. Or girl, don't worry about it. Pay me later. Because they know my heart. They know that I'm going to say thank you. They know that I appreciate them and it's genuine. It's genuine because I know you don't have to do this for me. It doesn't matter if I'm paying you to do it. You don't have to take my money. You don't have to accept my form of payment as a way to be paid. You could decide that you want to work with somebody else and you could leave me stuck. Because most of the time, like I said, if I'm asking you to do something without you doing it, it means I'm kind of stuck. I feel stuck. So I'm asking you to help unstick me. I appreciate you unsticking me. I do. Anyway, that was on my heart, guys. That was on my heart. I appreciate everyone who reaches out to me. There are people who like come up in my DMs and have suggestions, point me in directions, show me posts that I missed on social media that have vital information that they remember talking to me about. I'm like, oh my God, the information you need is right there. Go find it. And they point it to me. They don't even give it to me. They just point me in a direction. Sometimes they give it to me, and that's great too. Point me in a direction. I appreciate it. So if you are one of those people, take this. Thank you. I'm sure I will find a way to thank you personally, but thank you. Thank you. This is why I appreciate your time. I appreciate the platform to speak my mind. I appreciate everything you guys are doing for me. Whatever you think I'm doing for you, you're doing 2 times more for me. Trust that. Trust that. If you want to do even more for me, though, you want to purchase any of my books, In Her Makeup is available on Amazon as well as Kindle. So is my other novel, Soiled Sheets, which is actually a first in a series. It's also available on Amazon and Kindle. Long Neck Bottles is available on Amazon, Kindle, and Audible. Pick that up. It's free if you're doing the trial for Audible and it's one of your first 2 books. So take advantage of that. All my books are free with Kindle Unlimited. Try them out. Try me out. Do the free sample. See if you like it. And if you do purchase, go ahead. And if you do purchase, please remember to leave a review. I could certainly use some reviews. Thank you. If you want to get at me, I can be reached on Twitter at PWrites, as well as on Instagram at PWrites, as well as Facebook at Phoenix Ash. You can follow my book page at Passhent Books. That's P.ASHENT Books. I'm always looking for new ideas, new conversations, looking for new connections. Please feel free to become one. Until next time when we can exchange power. Peace.